Good, how are you?
Hey, John the Eagle Eye Picker here, and don't let the outside of this estate sale fool you. There is a lot of people in this one, and this one is kind of special and very different. This home was actually a former U.S. Senator. You'll see his name pop up on a few items here in the house. It's been some time since the person lived in this house, but there's a lot of things left behind that were very collectible. One particular item, pigs, were a special collection of his, so you'll see a lot of those coming up. This is a really neat Edison record player. As I come in here and I hear a crash, someone broke some glass, so I decided to leave this dining room area. It's actually where they're doing the cash register stuff too, so there's a lot of people to my right. I decided to turn around and go to a less congested area and start looking around. I'm headed upstairs. To the left you can see the rail, the chair assist for a disabled person. That's a really neat fan. I've seen those in Germany. I think candles push heat up and spin those around. A couple stuff items at the top of the stairs. I come to the first room. I do see a lot of items have price tags on them. That's a slide rule. I looked inside. It wasn't a very rare one, so I did not pick that up. There's a trumpet in the case there. A lot of neat stuff over on this table. The little North Carolina flags will give you another hint of who's what this U.S. Senator's name is. It's coming up in just a sec, by the way. These little pieces of furniture I thought were really great, really made very well. Thought about picking those up. Little cash box there. Nothing inside. Then this is a Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz. Looks to be in very good shape. It's vintage, very nice. Some clothes on the back of the door, nothing vintage there. Take a peek in the closet, and there is stuff everywhere in this house. There's so many knickknacks, so many small things. It's just overwhelming how much your eyes are drawn to here. There's stuff everywhere. That was a little piggy bank up top there. There's just games and random things everywhere. There's the first little shot of pigs there and that little pig shooting toy. Here with my other hand, I'm actually grabbed beneath the little constitutions that are for handout. I grabbed 9 pocket Bibles, new in box. Put those in my bag. Checking out the postcards. There's a lot of neat ones in here. I try to get an idea of the era. Then I see some nice writing. There's some older documents here, some older letters I do look through later. I was surprised that many personal items like journals and stuff were still there. There was actually a photo album with, here's all the pigs. Now, we're coming up on his name really quick. I'm gonna show it to you on a hat. It's a kind of nice reveal. But if you haven't figured out which US Senator really was, I don't know, collected pigs, you'll find out soon. There's a very nice TIAC radio. Don't see those very often. In the shelves, you can see little pigs worked in everywhere. I'm looking at the book titles, of course. There's a couple more pigs. There's a candle. NC State Coke bottle there. There was a pig in that jar. There's another little pig down there. Some books that are kind of interest, but none really vintage or the type that I would typically pick up. Under here I see some office supplies. I of course check those out. Look for pen sets, pencils, vintage, unopened packages of office supplies. Open this up, there's just some outlet adapters. There's some more pigs laying over here too. A lot on the floor, a lot of stuffed animals, a lot of more. You can see we're coming up on more and more pigs. There's some other things assorted here, but mostly pigs, stuffed pigs here. There's a koala, a rabbit there also, but mostly pigs. I'm making my way over to this office looking area to see if there's any desk sets, stuff. I look inside, see if there's anything in the drawers, and there's a couple things that have items in them. And this is a former Jesse Helms house. So there's the big reveal. This was former U.S. Senator Jesse Helms, now deceased, one of the homes he owned. I'm looking around on the desk. Here's a little pen and pencil set. They're pretty neat. I look up these book sets to see if they're resellable. The gentleman moved out of the way from the trumpet case, so I'm making my way more to the bookcase as you enter. Checking out the items on the shelves. A little flying pig there. Marionette. Making my way to the next room. Again, every room is just filled solid. It's packed full of knickknacks. Here in this closet, there's a child's jacket up front, but most of it's men's clothes, older stuff that's been there quite some time. A lot of, Christmas stuff in this particular area. I looked through some of these old letters, actually, and there's some really nice handwritten notes to his daughter. That was a Disneyland coloring book. I actually looked at it, came back and looked at that, and it was pretty... All the pages were kind of colored on and not in the lines, if you know what I mean. But it was really cute and fun to see. Those little cricket boxes. I see those quite often, actually.
Oh, that was there.
People call them different things. I always go through this sewing, and I always have these old sewing machines. I always go through the drawers. I'm always looking for sterling thimbles. Also, these sterling hem measuring devices. I found both of these things at estate sales. And I'm always on the lookout for those. These are just mostly full of buttons and other accessories. A couple Cub Scout patches in that drawer as well.
I thought we could both go.
Now I'm looking at another bookshelf. This is the one to the left as soon as I walk in the door. There's different items there. A lot of knickknacks. Some painted pottery items that people had fired, and Santa Clauses and other books. Different bags. There's some little knickknacks in here. Some trinket boxes. Lots of yarn. I'll take a look at this and see if it's a complete sheet set with pillowcases. Some of the vintage, some vintage sheet sets can go for pretty good money, particularly if they're more recognizable characters.
So, let people no. Does not let people.
Dolls are something I see pretty much at all of the older estate sales. There's a lot of people that had doll collections. This was a neat jacket. I didn't know if it was embroidered or, more vintage. It seemed more modern, though, after I looked at the tag. And here's bins full of blankets.
Oh, look, it's the Flintstones.
I looked through these briefly and I noticed it's not really brand name stuff, and some of it's not exactly clean. These two in the corner, there's a name for them. These kids facing the corner, naughty kids or something like that. I actually thought the cap with Winnie the Pooh on it, and Tigger, was probably collectible, but it was sewn onto that doll.
It's all the erasers.
And the top of this, the top of this vanity, this dresser had lots of really neat trinkets on it. Some were priced, some were not. Here's some toys. Some I recognize that are pretty neat. They actually had the little figures that fit inside the car there at the bottom of that container. That whole box is full of electronics, wiring and stuff. I always look at microphones. Try to pick them up. Coming over to a little nightstand. There's a Heinz sketch. I've seen those before. It's missing a piece, I think, out of the top there, though. And a box with some medical devices in it. More trinkets. That gumball machine there actually was metal, and it was a glass globe in there, so that wasn't actually a bad deal. In this, there was some vanity items like soaps, stuff like that, another home decor. And in the bottom, this drawer has a bunch of Reader's Digest in it. I'll make my way to the bathroom next. Can tell this hadn't been used in a while, or cleaned in a while. I look for vintage, hopefully sealed, discontinued items, particularly in cosmetics. Some lipsticks and things like that are very sought after. Didn't find anything in there. A champagne glass candle. On the toilet lid is there's a case with cassette tapes in it. My guess is someone brought it in here to get out of the crowd and look up and see if they wanted to buy any of those. Have some space to sort through those. I'm looking through a cabinet inside of the bathroom enclosure, and up top I see the handle of a motorcycle hanging over. I pull it down. Of course, I don't see these very often. This is an Avon motorcycle. I've seen them before, but not at estate sales. They're not really worth a lot, but they're always fun to see, and I very rarely see them. But they're not worth picking up. Then I flip the cassette case over. It's a double-sided, and check out the other side, just to make sure I don't miss anything. Coming into another bedroom. This one's it's pretty packed in this room. That's a nice case there. That's a pretty nice case there. You're going to notice something, if you haven't already. There's some interesting wallpaper in this house. The wallpaper was used to be a pretty big thing. I also know that you can find rolls of that, vintage wallpaper. You should pick it up. There's actually a resale market for that. Some people like to get that for nostalgia and other reasons, and decor. Little drop leaf table there was pretty nice. Some bags with little toys and trinkets inside. Another pig. Little stack of glasses. I'm always looking out for aviators, type, Ray-Bans, vintage glasses as well. This is a Buffalo football team. There was also one to the left there for the Washington Redskins. These were those rip and throw. They have Velcro holding the arms and legs on. You can kind of tear them apart. And I guess if your team's not doing well, look at you can take out your frustration on those tearaway dolls. I'll take a brief look on the bed at some of the brands of the clothes. Try to get an idea if they're vintage or not. Again, there's that wallpaper. A few hats that were hanging behind the door. I'll take a look at those real quick. Nice poster there above the door frame. I always try to scan the walls. I found some things on walls that people just walk by. They're, very expensive because people tend to look down and on top of shelves, and sometimes some of the coolest items are hanging on the wall. There's some aluminum cups there. Those are kind of cool to see a complete set together, and the holder. And this is just the hallway upstairs to take you from the 3 rooms we've been to. It kind of goes around in a big circle, actually, with 2 Jack and Jill type bathrooms connecting them. This is kind of a study area between the 2nd and 3rd bedroom. So this is actually facing the front of the house. Lots of books, as you can tell. I don't have a lot of history on the house. I did have a friend who's a realtor look it up, and it confirmed that he owned and lived in this house, I think until maybe 2000, the mid-2000s, or 2005 or something like that. And then I think his daughter lived there. And they had some children there. I think she was a teacher. Here's a box with an old christening dress, some paperwork. Coming into another bedroom. Again, there's just stuff everywhere. Boxes have stuff at the bottom. The bed's stacked with clothes. The closets are full. I check out this clock. This lady says it's hers, but I said, it's neat. I picked it up to look at it, and it must have weighed 10 pounds. It was solid, like marble slab on the top and bottom and sides. It was a very heavy piece. And the metal mechanism. It's a coin counter. Another one on the floor there. A bunch more smaller items on both the top of the dresser and the windowsill here. Please leave a comment if you see something I should have picked up. I know I walked by several items, and there's several items that I don't mention that I do pick up along the way. But if you see something, please leave a comment. There's just so many odd knickknacks here, I just couldn't identify them all. It's another cool trinket box. There's another one that had nice red velvet on the inside. There's some ladies' gloves. Some of those ladies' gloves, particularly like lamb skin, can be quite expensive and do well as vintage resale. That's a staple at every vintage or older estate sale, shoe shine kit, shoe shine supplies. This box of rocks, I'm trying to discover if rocks are worth purchasing or selling. I see a lot of people have a lot of focus on those. This video is getting a little bit long. Let's break this up into another one. I'll take you through the rest of the house, and we'll go out into the shed where we find paperwork, a lot of his letterhead, and a lot of great other items. This is the Eagle Eye Picker, and be sure to check part 2 of this video coming out soon.